Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of Coding in RStudio. Today I wanted to give you a quick run through of the RStudio IDE, give you an idea of how to read the different things that you see here on your screen, and give you kind of a brief introduction of how I would go about setting things up for your coding in the future. So RStudio is an IDE that utilizes RScript to create projects. So things like data projects, web applications, automated scripts, scrapers, so on and so forth. What I mean by IDE is that it is a software that stands for Integrated Development Environment. And IDE is a software created to provide tools that can make programming easier for the programmer. So what I would associate it with is an RStudio is to R, kind of like how Microsoft Word is to a Word document. So you have multiple different ways that you can work on a Word document. So things like using things like Microsoft Word, Google Docs, LibreOffice, several different Mac applications, that sort of thing. So RStudio is to R like Microsoft Word is to a Word document. It is a tool, but it is not the only tool that could be used to create R projects. I just like RStudio because it has a lot of different default integrations, but there really is not a right or wrong different IDE to use. So coding in RStudio is a lot different than a lot of other IDEs. So programs like Python or Java that you might code in Visual Studio are top to bottom compilers. And what I mean by that is that if you write a whole bunch of code, it will, when you run it, it'll run from the top all the way down to the bottom, with one click. So you click run and it'll run from top to bottom. But RStudio is a little bit different. So RStudio allows you to create your R script where you can read it in line by line, which that can be super helpful for debugging or anything along those lines. That would make it helpful for a newer user to write out their script. So I want to go over what is in the IDE to kind of give you an understanding of how to read different things that are showing up on your screen. So up here at the top left, you'll have your source window. So this will be basically anywhere that your code would go. Down here at the bottom left is your console. The console is just where the output of your code will generally go. So if you read in a CSV, it'll show this at the bottom. Or if you just set a variable into equal to a number, it'll show up here at the bottom. The top right up here is your environment window. So this will be where elements or values or variables that you read in your code, this will be where they're stored. And you can click back onto them, and I'll show you here in a minute. You'll click back onto them to kind of reference later. Then your files and directories will be down here. So this will be anywhere that anything that you're reading in or writing out will show up here in your directory. Your directory can be changed if you click on Tools up here, and then you click Global Options. This will be where you can change your default working directory. So a lot of times what I like to do is I'll create a folder, and we'll just call it our code. Open. So what this will do is this is the default working directory but not in a project. So that just basically means this is the location in which it'll reference anything for coding if we're not in a project itself. So we're going to go ahead and apply there. So now anything that we read or write should default go into this folder. What we'll go ahead and do too is we'll create a project. We'll hit File, the New Project. We'll hit New Directory, New Project. And we're going to change the subdirectory into our code and hit Open. And then we're going to call this Project 1. So now anything that we read or write should be in this file, which is located in the our code folder. So Project 1, and this is where we're at right now. So what we'll do from here, I'll give you a quick introduction on how to read the environment. We're going to hit File, then New File, then RScript. So we have our source back here at the top left, and we'll just make a simple sample of code. So we'll make the variable a set to 4. So this less than and the dash sign is basically meaning we're taking the value of 4 and setting it to the variable a. So with RStudio, like I said, you can read it in line by line. The hotkey for that is Control and then Enter. It'll read in that line and sets it, as you can see in the console, A is 4. And this shows up in your global environment, or in your environment console as well. The value of A is set to 4. So if we set A to, let's say, like -20, and then you read that in, then it'll change that value of A over to negative 20. So if you're in the scenario where you're balancing a whole bunch of different values in this environment and you're needing to clear something, so let's just do B is 4, or B is, let's do a different number, 8, and then C is 10. So we have A, B, C, negative 20, 8, 10. If you ever need to clear this out, you hit this little broom here at the top right, and we will hit remove, and then it clears out your global environment. You can also do this down here with this broom icon for your console. If you're ever just seeing a whole bunch of stuff in your console that you need to clear out, click that broom and it'll empty it all out. So that's the basic introduction to how how to read the IDE. Aside from that, if you were looking to kind of change the appearance of the IDE itself to dark mode or something along those lines like I have, if you click this tools option up here, then you click global options, go down to appearance, this is where you would change it. So I believe I have mine set to twilight, but set it to whatever your personal preference is and then hit apply, and then it should make those changes. Other than that, the only other thing is just to make sure that, like most IDEs, it does not default save your code that you make. So you can use your Control S hotkey, or you can hit File and then Save. And what we'll just title this is a script, and then hit Save, and it pops up under here. So that way, if you ever close out your IDE and you need to reopen the script, that's where it'll be right there. But thank you for watching the second episode. Later tutorials will have some further introductions on different features with R. And thank you for your time.